Okay. Morning. Today is July 8th, 2016, and this is a special meeting of the members of New York State Liquor Authority. In attendance is Chairman Bradley and Commissioner Ford in Albany. Staff in attendance, General Counsel Flug in New York City, myself, Acting Secretary, held up in Albany. Today's calendar consists of one item. Counsel's office is presented a proposed emergency summary order suspension marked agenda number 2016-1568L. For license serial number Onondaga OP 2194878, issued to Transition 658 Incorporated, doing business under the trade name Transition 658. They're located at 658 North Salina Street in the city of Syracuse. Presenting for Counsel's office is Associate Attorney at Buckley. Counselor?
Thank you, Commissioner Held. Good morning, members of the authority. Again, as Commissioner Held stated, this is a proposed order of emergency summary suspension. The most recent matter was where a person was actually shot and killed last Saturday, July 2nd, 2016, and it is one of several violent incidents that have occurred at this location in the last 6-7 months. As you can see from the memo I presented, the license was issued as a tavern opening at 5 p.m. The licensee was subject to the 500-foot rule, so they stated that there would be a family-type operation with DJs and bands also, but they seem to emphasize the diversity of the clientele. I'm not too familiar with Syracuse, but I did look at the map, and I see that there's a large hospital nearby. They said they're going to have a professional upscale clientele, so I don't know if that's what they were thinking of, the persons who were working in around the hospital. But in any event, it seems that this location has, devolved into a nightclub with violent incidents. They seem to have sort of a pattern where there's a violent incident, and when the police go there, apparently the licensee cooperates. There's apparently a lot of surveillance cameras, but the victims do not wish to cooperate with the police. Some are gang members, and it just seems that this is a location that is attracting a clientele that is just prone to violence, and they are just, these people are getting shot, stabbed, and they really have no interest in any sort of cooperation with the police.
Can you address the incident on July 2nd, please?
Only to the extent that apparently, unfortunately, it's a fresh investigation, obviously, and some of the information was deleted, but it looks like apparently that there was someone who was leaving location at closing hours, 2 a.m. or thereabouts, and groped or smacked a woman, and she took exception to it, and this Mr. Chandler apparently came to her defense and confronted this male, and apparently ended up with some sort of verbal argument, and ended up apparently Mr. Chandler being shot and pronounced dead about 20 minutes later.
He was found in front of 600.
Well, he was found in front of the location. That's where police found his body, but the witnesses said that he was in the location, and again that there was some sort of incident. Relatively minor incident in the scheme of things. It should not obviously result in somebody losing their life. But this is just, again, just a pattern of violent incidents. On May 28th of this year, apparently there was somebody who was leaving the location, goes into a car of a friend, and apparently there was somebody lying in wait for him because another person was seen in a surveillance video exiting a vehicle, then shooting Clifton Stith 9 times. Mr. Stith apparently was in relatively good shape, according to the medical personnel, that apparently he survived his wounds. But again, it just goes to show that this is a place that apparently attracts a crowd where violence is the norm. And just the last month, State Liquor Authority Investigator Meyer and other law enforcement personnel, including city, federal, and state, went to the location. There were 4 security guards who were not licensed. One, in fact, was a convicted federal felon. which the licensee cannot employ, but more importantly, you have security guards who are not properly licensed and trained, and perhaps that's why these incidents are occurring time and time again.
Can you
Again,
address the April 30th incident?
April 30th was just merely, again, police report that there was a large group of women left the location, 1:24 in the morning, and just engaged in fighting. And the police told one of the principals, Sharon Washington, you have to, disperse these crowds. So apparently this is not that the licensee is allowing apparently crowds to gather. Many of these police reports indicate that when they go to the location to investigate these incidents, there's huge traffic jams at this corner. Again, I'm not too familiar with Syracuse, but apparently, it's the kind of location where you can, I'm sure the members have seen many times where cars come waiting for rides or waiting to see friends and things like that. So it just adds to the chaotic situation that apparently occurs in this location, and it's usually occurring on weekend nights at 1:30 to 2 o'clock in the morning at closing hours. So there certainly seems to be a pattern to this that the licensee is not addressed in any significant way as far as we can see, again, leading to this unfortunate incident where this person lost his life last week.
Can you address the stabbing on March 27th?
Sure, that was, again, where there was I may have perhaps gave a wrong impression that there was fighting when police were there, but apparently there was a fight on the dance floor. A 20-year-old man was stabbed. He doesn't particularly know how he was stabbed. I think he mentioned to the police it might have been for somebody else, but it turns out he's a documented gang member, and the police consistently tried to find out more information about this, and this person was apparently very hostile to the idea of cooperating with the police. When, again, the licensee, to their credit, apparently each time has let police review the video, but when the video was seen that there was fighting going on, and again, this is just more of the same type of incidents that occur at this location. A few months before that, in December of 2015, a 22-year-old person was involved, where he was, it's a convoluted situation where apparently there were persons there who wanted to rob somebody else. There was a fight, a brawl at closing hours. This person was robbed to the point where his pants were pulled down, and that this person who went to the hospital was stabbed, Mr. Frias, again, didn't want to speak to the police, and the police report that this person, since then, Mr. Frias, has been involved in numerous incidents, including shootings, and again, he's uncooperative. Again, he apparently is a gang member or a gang associate, and again, this is apparently the type of clientele this location attracts, not this professional upscale clientele that they profess in their method of operation and their 500-foot rule support statement that they would have as I said, they said frankly that there was a place that would be amenable to families coming there, and that they would have special events, and they said they actually would have no security unless they were going to have special events like a wedding reception or birthday party, et cetera, but apparently it seems they have security there all the time.
Mr. Buckley, was there another shooting on October 17th, 2015 at the location, an assault on?
Let me just interrupt there. I think it's obvious based on the papers as well as Mr. Buckley's comments that this has been an extremely violent place even since it was opened in March of 2014, and just from his papers it appears that it's been violent at least since January of 2015, which means it wasn't really open a full year before it really started heading in this direction. It's obvious that, to me, that from the incidents that have occurred plus the manner in which they described they would operate and the manner in which it's clear they are operating are completely contradictory. That, in my view, that this emergency suspension is necessary and completely justified at this time. It's evident that the continued licensing of this establishment would result in further injuries to persons who patronize this business, to employees, and certainly possibly to law enforcement and to the community of Syracuse at large, given the incidents that have occurred. They've employed at least one felon that we're aware of. The security guards are unlicensed. They've added a bar, or it appears they had an unlicensed service bar for a period of time, and the location it appears frequently visited by known gang members, which I'm sure are increasing the violence that's occurring at the location. So I don't think there's any question in my mind that this is, at this point, that this suspension is necessary and justified. So I vote to suspend.
Commissioner Ford?
I concur. I vote to suspend.
Suspension to be served immediately?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we have no other items for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day, weekend.
Yep.
Thank you.